Welcome, welcome to another amazing episode of Giselle's Healing Journey. This is a space where we grow consciously, where we question gently, where we heal loudly and softly at the same time. If you're here today, I know you're just not trying to level up. You, my darling, you're trying to understand yourself. And today, we're talking about something that has been quietly shaping so many women's minds. The pressure to be a high-value woman. So take a deep breath with me before we begin. Arrive as you are, because this conversation might untangle some things inside of you. Let's start with awareness. The phrase high-value woman didn't come from ancient femininity teachings. It didn't come from our grandmothers, and it also, for sure, didn't come from a spiritual test. It was amplified in the era of social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. We've seen influencers quoting luxury aesthetics, hyper productivity, soft light energy, expensive taste, submissive but polished energy. Platforms like Instagram and TikTok turn femininity into a performance. Now, femininity has a checklist. Soft voice, designer bags, perfect body, healed trauma, feminine but not emotional, independent but not too independent, ambitious and not intimidating. And suddenly, we all are not just women. We are brands. We are strategies. We are performance. And I want to gently ask you, when did being a woman become a marketing campaign? When did this start happening? The high value narrative is often rooted in fear. Just think about it. When you constantly moving in fear, you're constantly performing from approval, from somebody to accept you and comment and like your content, and you are constantly seeking for that approval. Okay? You're moving in fear constantly. You're performing in fear. And fear of not being chosen, fear of being abandoned. It can also be fear of aging, fear of not being desirable, fear of being too much or not enough. It disguises itself as empowerment, but sometimes it's just anxiety dressed in luxury. Literally, that's what it is. You hear things like, upgrade yourself so you can attract better, girl. Or men only respect women who are very well educated, which, yes, that's definitely a plus. But if you are to the point that not to a level that is, you have all these degrees and, all this college degrees and all this stuff, and you just like put yourself into a level of anxiety because all you wanted was to level up yourself. That's great on the professional aspect of things, but what about the other things that also matter? How you feeling mentally, where you at emotionally, where you are spiritually. Okay? Also, we hear things like never show vulnerability. Like if you show yourself too soft, too emotional, that definitely is going to be a big no. Guys won't pick you. Really? or stay mysterious. Man, love mysterious. Stay mysterious, woman. Stay mysterious. And while there is wisdom in self, in improvement, ask yourself, am I evolving from love, or am I reshaping myself to avoid rejection? Ask yourself those things. Very important. Because as women, we wear so many hats. We being programmed and shaped in a way that we must embrace and endure everything. We should never show that we're soft and weak. We cannot allow our kids or husband or family members to see us that we're not capable of doing something. That we always have to portray this persona of being Wonder Woman. Yes, wonderful. You can be Wonder Woman, in a day or two. But remember, we are humans. We are meant to feel. We are meant to balance our life accordingly and not living so much anxiety because you're demanding so much of yourself that is putting you in that stage of anxiety that's going to turn into depression, because even though you think everything outside of you worth more than your inner world, that right there is going to put you in a very dark place if you're always seeking for outside things outside of you. Okay? And for anyone who are in the journey of healing, in the journey of discovering yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, understand where you are, who you are as a woman, as a person, as a being, what's your purpose? Why are you here? What is the reason that you are here? What are you meant to do for the time you are here? If you start questioning those things, you are in the right path, because eventually you're going to start working on yourself so much that you're not going to be thinking and having the obligation, the stress, the anxiety, the pressure to perform this way. Okay? To perform in a way that all you want is for people to validate that you are good. All you want is to show people that you are enough. All you want constantly is putting content so you expose yourself out there so somebody can come and comment on your information, on your post, or like your picture just to give you the like that I like you. That I'm validating that I like you. But once you start working on yourself and healing, you're going to understand that none of those things matter. What people think about you, what society expects from you as a woman, it doesn't matter. What matters is what you think about yourself and what you know you're capable of doing every single day, and how you have set an agreement to complete each one of the roles you portray as a woman, as a mother, as a wife, okay? As a teacher, if you're a teacher, as a CEO of a company, okay? If you are an entrepreneur, you're the one who sets the bar. You're the one who want to make sure you do whatever it is that you have set yourself to do in a way that brings you peace, wholeness, happiness, abundance, joy, not anxiety and stress. Constantly living in a stage of performing from others is draining. That right there, just thinking about it, it's very exhausting. So I do hope that as I continue unfolding this topic, I assist you in bringing the clarity, the guidance, the self-awareness that you do know you must apply within yourself this new year to start moving with intention, to start moving strategically in a different way that is going to bring to you the life you see yourself having. Not what the other person is experiencing, not what the neighbor it has, or what you see other girls having on social media. No. Have you stopped for a minute and asked, what is it that I really want? Because constantly we want things that others has. But have we stopped for a minute and asked, what is it that I really want? What is it that I really want to do? What is it that I really want to pursue? What is it that how is it that I want to portray each one of the roles, all the hats that I wear every single day? How do I want to show up for others and for myself? Okay? And at the end of this episode, I will be providing some guidance and some tools that will assist you during this journey. So please make sure you stay with me through the entire episode so you can grab some guidance, okay? We live in a world where we constantly being pressured to perform, to be a high value woman because society has set it that way. And we have to meet those expectations. What? We have to. Just thinking about you just think about the phrase, you have to. Every time you feel like you say I need to or I have to, it already puts you in a stage of obligation, and that obligation is going to bring you stress and anxiety. Trust me on that. But then when you start moving in a way of thinking, I want to do this, okay? It comes from a want, not from an obligation. Things start shifting in a different way. Okay, so drop those titles and all those expectations and all that pressure that you constantly put on yourself. And it's not even for you and for your happiness. It's just to meet others' happiness and expectations that at the end of the day, nobody cares. Nobody cares that you come up and do it all. Nobody cares. Nobody's going to come at the end of the day and give you an Oscar. A title of being the woman who did it all. That's not gonna happen. Like I said, people put those expectations of you, and those expectations are not really the expectations you have set for yourself. Those expectations are others people's expectations that come from their own legacy, from their own dreams that they haven't met, from their own fear. Okay? That doesn't include you. And I just want to make sure I bring that awareness to you today, to assist you in your journey. Work on developing the best version of yourself for you that brings you the happiness, the calmness, the joy, the love, and the abundance you want to experience for the time you are here. And I want you to ask yourself, am I evolving from love or am I reshaping myself to avoid rejection? Because there's a difference. Your nervous system knows the truth. Trust me. And I want to break down, the difference between social media versus real femininity. Social media is more about looking aesthetic, looking fine, clean, beautiful, perfect. It's like we get into a level where now that people are doing AIs, we're using AIs and we're doing so many things that now you won't be able to differentiate what's true and what's fake, what's real and what's not real. That's why it is so important that you learn about yourself so much and you discover yourself so much during your healing journey that you earn back your authenticity. That is going to differentiate you from other girls that are trying to copy other girls. Why you want to be a copy when you can be an original, sweetie? Why do you want to be a copy when you can be original? Okay? Authentic femininity is embodiment. Social media might try to put, said, look soft. And authentic femininity says, feel safe. Again, social media might say, be rare. And authentic femininity says, be freaking real. Be you. Be your authentic self. Real femininity is crying and is still being powerful through that process. We have been told that crying and be soft you're showing being weak. You don't know how to hold your emotions and control your emotions. No, it's quite the opposite. When you learn emotional intelligence, you learn when it's okay to cry, because you know that when you cry, you're releasing things that you must release. Okay? And if you feel crying and there's people around you and you freely allow yourself to cry without feeling shame, without punishing yourself, listen, that's the best thing you can do for you without caring what other people think. Okay? Because what other people think in that moment is about their own perception, their own opinions, their own lackadaisies, their own traumas, their own fears. It does not include you. Okay? Again, real femininity also is setting boundaries without explaining yourself to anyone. Wanting partnership but not needing validation constantly. Choosing peace over performance. I mean, I have reached a level of peace and intuition. I'm very intentional when I post things. If I allow myself to post something, either is through a video, through a reel, through a story, through a simple post, you must believe that the intention was to guide, educate, bring guidance, awareness, or awake someone that will see my post. Someone will feel something. Someone will get the message. Someone will understand what I'm trying to say. Someone will get the message that I'm trying to communicate. That's what I care about. I'm not posting for performance. I'm posting with an intention. I'm not in a rush of posting things constantly because I want views and likes. I really don't care. When you move differently and when you start working on yourself, you're not feeling the pressure to do that. Your anxiety completely drops. You're no longer want to perform. You do things with a different intention and you move accordingly. Okay? So if you experience this yourself, okay, especially as a mother, during your pregnancy, postpartum, healing, rebuilding, whatever stage you are right now, in those seasons weren't glamorous. When you were facing those seasons, they weren't glamorous. They were seasons that taught you something important, that demand something on you that needed to be broken to help you become the version that was needed for you to become. And they were not beautiful journeys. They were hard. They were difficult. I mean, I'm facing postpartum. I'm 5 months postpartum. And, somebody told me, well, don't talk too much about postpartum because postpartum is only 6 to 8 weeks and you already bypassed that. And I'm like, who said a time, and specifically the postpartum is 3 weeks or a month or 2 months? Who came with that idea? I know myself so much that I know when I'm facing things in a different way. I know how much time it takes my body to heal. I know how much time it's required for me to heal mentally, emotionally. I like to sit with my emotions and navigate through those phases, because when I do allow myself to feel and understand and allow my emotional intelligence to kick in, that's when wisdom, that's when I gain so much wisdom in so many things that I'm allowing myself to express. So we had created in society in a specific time frame when we think or we believe a woman should go through postpartum or maternity or motherhood or whatever. No. And we continue repeating the same thing and making other women believe that that's how it is. And no. That's why during your healing journey, it is so important for you to understand yourself so well, for you to learn about yourself so much, so you the one who set those times for yourself. And you don't allow society or anyone to come and dictate, this is how long you should be in postpartum, this is what postpartum is, this is how much, you shouldn't have kids after your 35s. You're high risk. What? If you are a woman who's been taking care yourself, I mean, physically, you eat well, you exercise, you don't do drugs, you keep yourself active. I mean, come on. You cannot put me in the number of high risk women because I have kids after my 30s. You see, so we continuing allowing society to dictate and tell us that that's how things should be. And that is a huge no. And that's why I'm also brought this topic to talk about these things, okay? And the roles that we have been pushed to, pursued in life to become a high valuable woman, okay? And, during that becoming, and you understanding your power, you understanding how you should be moving in life, that's when you earn that feminine power, truly that feminine power. Now, I want to talk about the masculine energy that is hidden in high value culture, because this, I also want to bring this out and why. Okay, so I want to go deeper into this. The idea of high value, okay, again, comes from marketplace language. It comes from, like I said, social media pushing us in believing that that's how it is. And we continue saying, oh, this is how it is. Okay? And, that market language is value, ranking. We're constant in competition. If that friend of mine is doing this podcast, I also going to do a podcast and talk about, I don't have nothing to talk about, but I'll figure it out. Really? Really? I mean, most of the people that allow themselves to create a podcast or even a YouTube channel or just be a storyteller, and that's what they do on YouTube, on TikTok, whatever, they started that way because they feel the need, not the need, they felt within themselves a calling. They said, this is how I'm gonna move, this is how I'm gonna express my truth, this is the way I'm gonna allow myself to release things, or also in a way to educate and guide people by you expressing your personal experience. It assists you in acknowledging, the stage of your life where you're at, but you're also assisting another woman that's also facing the same situation, or they also going through the same thing, or they might go through the same thing. Okay, remember, we are here to learn and teach, and we teach and learn. We all go through those phases. So find whatever it is that you think you're good at. Find whatever you think that is going to assist you in feeling this is what I'm meant to do. This is made me feel happy. I don't feel obligated or recording or creating content. I don't feel obligated that I have to do this. No, 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 no. You do it because you love it. It comes from a passion. It flows easily to you because you know within yourself that makes you happy. That's the route that you should take. But if you feel obligated to do something, that right there, that's your sign. That's not the route you should take. I'm telling you. And again, social media. Social media has ruined us in so many ways. For those that hasn't built emotional intelligence, for those that hasn't built mental strength, for those that haven't uh, question things. If you're a person that you sit down and you question things, it's going to be very difficult for people to program you, to manipulate you, to make you believe or think or act in a different way, because you already have built enough mental strength and emotional intelligence, and you have the capacity to differentiate things. But if you haven't, it's going to be easy for social media, instead of assisting you and guiding you, is going to turn you in something completely different that at the end of the day you're not going to recognize yourself. Okay? And that thinking that way and moving that way, that is a transactional energy. It mirrors your economic system and not your emotional depth when you move that way. And when femininity becomes about positioning yourself above other women, like I said, I want to do a podcast because she started a podcast. I want to start making videos, storytelling videos, because I saw other people doing it and that's trending, so I'm going to start doing it. Probably those people that start doing it and they're actually doing amazing, it's because they found something that they good at, that it comes easily for them to do, and they don't feel obligated to do it. They love doing it, so that's why they become so good at what they're doing, and you want to copy that. So, we constantly in this mindset of competing and demonstrating the other woman that we're capable of doing what she's doing, or becoming that the other person is becoming, when we're forgetting how to spend time alone and start this self-discovering ourselves to build that authenticity and become what we are meant to be. We all are special in so many ways. We are gifted in so many ways. But how are you going to be able to assist others to give that beautiful, amazing intelligence and power that God created you to be if you haven't spent the time to discover yourself? How? Okay? Drop the competition. The only competition that you should be having is yourself, against you, becoming better for you. Not in a way that gives you anxiety, not in a way to prove anyone anything, but yourself. Okay? Again, we shouldn't be competing with one another. We should be supporting, assisting, liking, commenting. Okay? That's what we should be showing if you feel okay within your heart, commenting or sharing something. Anyone who's followed me through social media has so many haters. Oh my God, I have so many people that, and a bunch of stalkers, and I love them so much. I do my best to give them a show every time I can. I do my best to keep them entertained, trust me, because they remind me that I am doing great and that I should continue doing what I'm doing, which is be my freaking authentic self. Okay? And why they wonder, how do I still standing after everything that I went through? Because I have my own story, as you have your own story, as we have our own stories. I focusing on becoming the best version of myself. I'm going deeper in understanding who is Gisselle Zapata. What is it that I'm meant to do? What is it that how I can plant seeds to people, to assist them, to guide them, to educate them? How my own experience that brought me pain, that brought me so many difficulties, endure me in a way that builds so much wisdom that I can pour into others and assist others and motivate others and uplift others. That's who I am. That's how I have always been in social media. And for those that also follow me, there are friends that are being there present, not my stalkers, not my haters. They know how I am. I like the pictures. I comment on them. If I see something that I feel within myself, I should say, I say it. I'm proud of you. You look good. Keep it up. I'm that type of person because I know how hard it is to build yourself. And I don't say it to them in a way to validate them. I say in a way to remind them, you are doing great. Keep it up. We all are facing different struggles. We are facing, fighting our own demons. But we must have love and compassion for sisterhood. We must share and guide and support all those women as well. Drop the competition. Just drop it. Focus on yourself. Because the most magnetic women in a room isn't the polished one. It's the one that is present. That she knows her power even when she's quiet and she don't say nothing. She knows her worth. She knows her value. And she unapologetically is authentic in her true self. That's the woman we should be becoming. That's the woman we should be focusing on becoming this year. Okay? Now, I want to move into talk about the impact of our mental health, how this mindset of being high value woman, okay, how social media has pushed us in a way of thinking we have to be a high value woman, and how that looks like based on what social media has, show us, okay. I want to talk about how this has affected so many women. Okay. Again, I'm like I said before, if you haven't worked on building mental strength, emotional intelligence, you're gonna be very, very easy to manipulate, very easy to program. I mean, social media, the way they bombard us with so many contents, so many things that we see. You also have to be careful of the information you consume daily. Make sure you filter your algorithm. Make sure you set no interest when you see something that doesn't resonate, that makes you feel some type of way. Start liking, following accounts that are motivational accounts that talk about self-empowerment for women, not in a way to be controlling and possessive and competitive, but in a way that brings that feminine, beautiful energy about you. Okay? Because how many times have you scrolled and suddenly felt behind? How many times you scroll on social media and you felt behind? You felt not rich enough because you saw something on social media, another woman, a friend is living the life of her life. Okay? Probably what she's experiencing is not even real. I mean, not everybody has the capacity to be able to show their true authentic self. Only those that are doing the healing journey, only those that have been loving themselves and working on themselves will be able to show you the real authentic self. I'm telling you, if you haven't been doing the healing journey, you haven't done any healing journey, you continue moving in fakeness. You continue putting content for people think you're rich, you're doing great, you're killing it, you move, you're doing, but that's all content. Inside, you probably feel depressed and sad. And that's the truth. And I can't just express to share these things because these are things we don't talk on social media. Okay? But again, how many times you scroll on social media and you feel soft, not soft enough? You feel not healed enough. You feel not disciplined enough because the neighbor is killing it. She's going to the gym every single day. She's staying consistent. She's eating. She's losing weight. And you feel like, shit, I'm not disciplined enough. I'm not consistent enough. Damn it. And then you start deeming your life. You start talking yourself to yourself negatively. That literally push your energy into a very low vibration, because you allowing social media to manipulate you and control you, because you continue believing that it's real, that friend that shows this beautiful life, that she moved, that has a yacht, that she goes shopping in Prada and Versace, do all this stuff, and you're like, damn, I wish I could have her life. No. Probably she has so much debt. Probably she's sad and depressed. Probably she has a cancer and she will die in 6 months, and she's just spending money like there's nothing because she don't care anymore. You don't know the story behind that video. You don't know the true story behind that post. You don't know the true story behind things, because not everyone has been healing and understanding their true value and understanding how abundant and amazing we are as a being. And the only way you will be able to understand that if you take the steps towards healing. Other than that, you're going to continue showing fake posts, fake videos, and just performing for likes and comments instead of moving intuitively and posting comment when you feel it's needed, with an intention to guide and educate and assist people, not to be competing with your neighbor. Okay, so comparison is exhausting. Comparison steals your joy. Please do not compare yourself with your sisterhood. Please do not compare yourself with your friend. Please do not compare yourself with anyone or anything. You are unique. You have uniqueness within you, and the only way you will know and learn about that uniqueness, that gifted, beautiful uniqueness that you possess, that God put it in you, creating you, is by you taking the time to start learning who you truly are. Who am I? If you haven't asked those questions, maybe this 2026 is the time for you to start asking those questions. Who am I? What is it that I want to do this year with my life? What is it, the things that I want to experience? What is it, the things that I want to share? What is it, the things that I must heal within myself that are keeping me stuck in this mindset, in these wrong beliefs? What is it that I must do with my life? Start questioning yourself. Start questioning people. Start questioning things. And I'm telling you, you're going to start getting answers, okay? And again, comparison steals your joy. It activates your survival brain. You're always surviving, performing, creating, produce. That's draining. Just me talking about it, I'm already drained. I need like a 5-minute, 10-minute meditation after I'm done with this episode, trust me. Because that's draining. And your body start thinking, I need to fit something. But what if I'm not broken? What if you're, just consuming too much performance? Okay? I definitely recommend you to have a day where you disconnect yourself from social media. If you don't have a day or two where you disconnect from social media, please do. Have a day or two when you're not creating any content. If you move with intuition, if you move accordingly, you won't be in that performance mode energy when you constantly think you have to create videos and content because you have this amount of followers, or you want to gain this amount of followers, or you want to make some money on social media. No. When you start moving on your purpose, when you start moving differently, that abundance, that money, you're going to attract it easily. When you start walking into your authentic self, I'm telling you, you're gonna attract the right people that they just gonna like you, comment on your posts, and share your stuff just because you being yourself. And it's a journey to get there. You know, when you start, probably you won't get anybody. And do not get discouraged because you're not doing it for them. You're doing it for yourself. You're putting content because you like putting content, and you're guiding, assisting people. You're not expecting anything in return. And that's how things will start churning in your favor. Trust me. We continue. So, you know, like I said, this constant mindset of you thinking constantly and performing, it's exhausted. Just drop it. Okay? I'm telling you, social media will give you anxiety and will keep you so distracted from other things that you should be paying attention on. And not because we are weak, you know, not because you haven't built enough emotional intelligence or mental strength, but because our brain is wired, is designed to compare ourselves to thousands of other people daily, you know, because you're comparing. Okay, I should be doing this and that. You do it without unconsciously. You do it. That's what our brain does if you put him in that situation. So that's why I said start filtering your content. Start cleaning your algorithm so you only see things that when you open your social media bring you calmness, guidance, you know, any educational, you know, tools that you need during the morning, during the day. It talks about God or remind you about God, you know. Follow accounts that talks about God, that give you songs to read, to learn, to understand. That's how we should be moving this 2026. Because your peace, listen to this, your peace is not supposed to compete with your algorithm. No. Your algorithm should be your peace. Okay? My algorithm on social media is my peace. If I open my Facebook, my Instagram, whatever. Okay, let me go back. Not too much my Facebook because I have done so much work on Facebook. I post something or I schedule something and I leave. I don't scroll. Maybe I'll do it on Instagram or TikTok for a few minutes, but then I'm out. Or I get in, I post something, I go to my following accounts to see what I can learn from whatever video or post they share, because I follow them for a reason, to learn something, and then I'm out. Facebook, it's a little complicated because there's a lot of things that even though you filter, they still pop up. I'm not a big fan of Facebook, but Instagram, TikTok, absolutely. You get to manipulate more the amount of information you allow yourself to consume daily. So now that we talk about how this affects us mentally, I also want to jump into the authentic femininity, how that looks like, okay? And authentic femininity is intuitive, it's nurturing, it's fierce when it's needed, it's restful when you're tired. When you're tired, you know, I need to rest, and you just do it. You don't explain it, you don't have to say nothing, you just do it. It's sexual, not in a way that is, you know, weird, but in a way that is beautiful. It's intellectual, it's protective, and it's very creative. Okay, when you walk in your feminine energy, it's just not one tone, it's a whole spectrum. So think of like figures like Maya Angelou. You know, she has a soft voice, powerful words. If you don't know who she is, I'm not gonna tell you, look her up. She's amazing. Do some homework, do some research. Or Frida Kahlo, it's spelled Kahlo, her last name, Frida. She is amazing. She's raw, she's expressive, She's freaking unapologetically. She's the best example of being a woman who is unapologetically in her feminine energy. Now, they both different expressions, different examples for both feminine, and neither performing from approval. They don't care. They just unapologetically be who they are. And that's authentically alignment. And alignment feels calm. It doesn't feel pressure. It doesn't feel anxious. It just feels calm. It's peaceful when you're in alignment. So I also want you to, ask you some healing questions, okay? You can write this down and then maybe go back and question yourself this. And I'm telling you, you will get an answer. Some of us, we haven't spent some time by ourselves. And we have neglected of doing the work that we know we must need to do within ourselves. So I definitely would love for you to spend some time alone and ask yourself some questions, okay? Instead of you asking, how do I become a high valuable woman, right? Because we all think, okay, this is what social media says. This is what I think I should be doing because social media says it. Go the other way. If everybody goes right, you go left. That's how you're going to build that authenticity. Okay? And it's going to, it's a journey. It's a journey. But once you get there, I'm telling you, things are going to start shifting in a better way for you. And instead of you asking, how do I become a high valuable woman? Maybe try asking, where have I been abandoned myself to be chosen? That question changes everything, because sometimes the pressure to be high valuable woman is a trauma response. I'm telling you, I said it in the beginning, we have been programmed that way, and we have been structured from your mother from your grandmother to your mother to the mother to you. We have been programmed that way, and we need to break that cycle. You, darling, you have your own life. You make your own decisions. You don't have to repeat the same thing your mother or your grandmother or whatever did. Why you want to write the same story as somebody else when you get to have the opportunity to write your own new story, brand new, with your own mistakes? Okay? So write your own story, because sometimes the pressure to be high valuable, again, is a trauma response. And if you grew up feeling unseen, you may overperform. I'm telling you, it's a trauma response. If you were abandoned, you may hyper perfect. You want to be extremely perfect. Or if you were criticized, you may be hyper polished. You want everything perfect, everything clean. Everything has to be just, you have ADD. Your level of ADD it goes beyond. That's a trauma response. And that tells you right there, there's some work I must do, because this increased my anxiety. Every time I feel like I have to clean, organize, keep everything perfect because I have overperform and be hyper polished. That right there, that's a lot of energy that you're draining. That's a lot. Okay? But healing the feminine energy doesn't perform for safety. It creates safety internally. It creates a safe, peaceful space for you. This soft light trance has been beautiful in so many ways, especially as a woman reclaim rest. Okay? But softness isn't about expensive vacation. It's not about you doing all these expensive things. It's about a nervous system that is regulated, that is calm, You can live a soft life in a small apartment. You can live a soft life while building a business. You can live a soft life in motherhood chaos. I'm telling you, yes, you can. Softness is how you speak to yourself. Softness is allowing your mistakes. Softness is not shaming your human emotions. That is not softness. So here's the shift. Okay? Instead of asking the internet what makes you valuable, instead of asking Google or ChatGPT, maybe define it yourself. Maybe you sit down with yourself and question yourself how I can be a valuable woman for me and for the people that get the opportunity to be with me. What makes you feel grounded? Okay, ask yourself, what makes me feel grounded? What makes me feel happy? What makes me feel valuable? What makes me feel self-respect and love? What makes me feel alive? That gives me joy and happiness that I'm willing to spend hours on this. I'm pretty sure some of those questions you're not even able to respond it, and that's okay. That's why I'm bringing these questions to you, to bring that self-awareness for you to start questioning those things. What makes you feel connected to yourself? Okay? Write those questions and question yourself. Not performative, not in a strategy way, not in a trendy way, but real. With realness, with honesty for yourself. Because real confidence is quiet. It's not loud. It's quiet. It doesn't need to announce itself. It just flows. You're just like, ooh, I don't know what there's something about him that he's just like, ooh. You know, there's something about her that is just, right? You won't have the need to perform, to do anything, because you have discovered yourself enough. I want to finish this episode by saying a few tools and guidance. I always like to provide some tools and guidance to all of you in each one of my episodes. This comes from my own self guidance, from my own self, love and self-respect, and me questioning myself. What is it that I must do to be a valuable woman for me? What is it that I must do to be a valuable mother for my kids? And I question myself those things, and then I write it. And that's how I move intentionally, because I am building a version of myself to be the best I can for me, for my husband, for my kids, and for those who get the opportunity, the pleasure to meet me in person. So here are some tools and guidance. You're more than welcome to write it, and please apply what works for you. Okay. Number 1, digital auditing. I already said this about social media. Unfollow accounts that trigger you. Okay. On filter, filter things that makes you feel, some type of way. Do it intentionally. Protect your mental diet. Protect your mental diet. And I'm going to talk about very soon in another episode about overall diet. We're going to talk about this mental diet. Okay. Number 2, journal. Very important. Start writing. Please start writing. If no one was watching, what would you do? Right now, if nobody is watching you, what would you do for you? For you. Because when we being watched, we constantly feel that we need to perform. That's the unhealed version of you. When you heal, you drop that mentality, that feeling of feeling that you have to perform. You just show up like you are, unapologetically. If you like me, cool. If you don't, I don't care. But this is who I am from a healed version of yourself. Okay? Number 3, your nervous system. Make sure you check your nerve system before you change something about yourself. Please ask yourself, am I doing this from inspiration or from insecurity? Okay? Number 4, redefine your value. Create your own value list. What makes you be for yourself the high valuable woman? Maybe this includes emotional intelligence, like I said, building more emotional intelligence so you don't get to be manipulated easily. Integrity. Okay, do you have any level of integrity for yourself, for your marriage, for your kids? The spiritual growth, where you at on that? Do you know something about spirituality? And if you don't, start searching, learn from it. Because that's the same way we spend time in learning and studying books, in expanding our mental, thought process of things, become, more abundant, be able to have different income and become financially free, also be able to exercise and be in a good shape. We also should be pay attention to our spirit. How are you feeding your spirit? What is it that you're doing to feed your spirit? And how does that look like for you? Create that value list for you. Number 5, embodiment practice. Prioritize silence. Prioritize solitude. That's the only way you're going to get to know yourself. Place one hand on your heart and say to yourself, I am already enough. I am not a project. Okay? I am not here to perform. I'm not here to allow others to dictate who I am. Okay? Feel the difference between providing and being. Very important. You were never meant to compete for worth. We were never meant to compete for worth. Never. Social media put us in that stage. Social media put that pressure on us as women. But we were never meant to compete for worth. You were meant to embody it. Embodiment is not loud. It's not viral. It's not always aesthetic. It's peaceful. It's calm. It's intuitive. So if this episode resonates with you, share it with another woman who might be quietly comparing herself to. Please do. And remember, you're not highly valued because you perform well. You are valued because you exist. Thank you for being here, for growing, from healing. This is Gisselle's Healing Journey.